Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is Brent. I live in Middle Tennessee, and this channel is basically uh, my story. So recently, I started having muscle spasms in my neck, uh, and these muscle spasms are pretty much constant. And with that, I also have migraines. And so, the first step of the journey, obviously, was going to the doctor. Well, the first time I went, uh, they basically said that I might be having a stroke. So luckily, the hospital was basically right across the street. So we went to the hospital. No stroke, no mini strokes. MRI came back fine. They said that I had a slip disc in my neck on the left side, which doesn't really make sense when you're having muscle spasms on the right. So part of this channel is just me explaining, how we're going to get me diagnosed. And my wife also, Lydia, she has a ton of medical problems as well. And part of those problems, I'll say this, we have figured out. Not all of them. But this is kind of our journey as to getting diagnosed and what it's like to living with chronic illnesses that, some of them that can't be explained. So if any of you, can understand this and understand the frustrations of having chronic illnesses, that's really some of what we're talking about on this channel. The other thing that we're talking about is so I'm a rocker, love music. By rocker I mean like motorcycle rocker, like back in the '60s. Most of the time, if you can't tell, I kind of dress that way. So some of that is going to be like like subculture and what it's like to be a part of subcultures and dive into some of the curiosities of that, right? So there's a ton of people that don't fully understand the punk scene, the rockabilly scene, the rocker scene, all these different scenes that exist in the subculture. And it's interesting, when you start breaking down some of those subcultures and what it looks like and what it's like to be a part of them and stuff like that. Uh, and I'm also a motorcycle nut, so hopefully I can share some of those journeys with you. And in fact, we have something going on actually this coming Saturday, which is I don't know when you're going to be watching this video, but we'll share some footage of that and some pictures as well. We have good friends getting married, and so it should be a joyous event. But yeah, this is just basically just vlogging, both motorcycle stuff and lifestyle stuff, and as well as just understanding what it's like to live with chronic illnesses. And matter of fact, I'm actually going to introduce my wife here. She's actually coming out, and here she is right now. Lydia, you want to introduce yourself a little bit? It doesn't matter. Come on. Come here. Everybody, this is my wife, Lydia. She's not really in the screen because she's a bit camera shy, which is fine. But yeah, we're going to share some of her story too. And it should just be like, hopefully, Lord willing, you guys will be able to understand what it's like to live with chronic illnesses, and then like also being part of these subcultures as well. Sorry if you're hearing some noise in the background. That's the air conditioner running. But yeah, it's this is a new illness for me for sure. As far as muscle spasms and the chronic migraines. Like, I don't know if you can see it right now, but it's starting to jerk to the right a little bit. No, I'm not doing that. It's doing it by itself. But this is just us, trying to be ourselves. Like we're not trying to be anybody else. We're not trying to follow, a certain guideline. We just want to share our story and share what it's like. And we're actually close to a military base as well, so you might hear the helicopter. it's kind of interesting living in the area that we're at in Middle Tennessee because there's a military base and it's special forces units are all over there with helicopter units. So yeah, don't be surprised if in my videos you might hear something in the background. Uh, but yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to make this video super long or anything. I just want to give a little introduction as to who I am and what we're doing. And also too, if you're interested, I have a podcast called Out of Darkness, OUTTA, and then just Darkness. What we cover with that is the paranormal, the strange, the weird, and we put a Christian worldview to it. The most recent one, Lydia and I actually did together, which I've only been able to get her on 2 episodes, which is kind of an accomplishment. But you know, that's a passion of mine specifically. Lydia's still learning on how to do a lot of, you know, like talk about these different things. It's not comfortable for most people, but that's how I've lived my life. And we actually just started a blog called 1,000 Miles to Nowhere, which is like my day-to-day thoughts, you know, like in the sense of, you know, all of us have different thoughts that go through our heads, right? And it's hard for guys like me especially to materialize those thoughts and have conversations. Many of us, especially men, internalize a lot. And it's been recently with the advice of some really close friends that I should start a journal. Well, in a sense, that's what the blog is, but it asks hard questions, you know, to myself and the culture and the society that we're in. You know, like I'm a misfit when it comes to the society. I have traditional values and worldview, but you know, those subcultures don't really accept that sometimes. You know, it's like, you know, if you don't ask, you don't tell, but that's not always the case. But yeah, I mean, I hope you guys enjoy the content that we're going to put out. A lot of it's just going to be, you know, vlogging. But, you know, we'll throw some motorcycle content in there when we can. And, you know, if I can, I'll try to get a motorcycle set up in some case to where, you know, I can maybe do like voiceover for a ride or something like that. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But we just want to share our lives and what it's like to live with chronic illnesses. You know, like it's not easy. And mine has only been about a month that I've been dealing with this. I've heard a lot of different possibilities. Still have to see a neurologist because obviously this is something that's happening within my brain and a misfire of some kind. So I'll take you along whenever we can. You know, it's today though we're blessed and grateful to have modern medicine. It's also an extreme struggle because you almost have to be your own advocate at this point. You know, unless you have a good doctor that's willing to put everything on the line for you, which is rare. I happen to, you know, my general practitioner actually, he wants to help me, you know, which is rare. My wife's went through about 5 or 6 doctors at this point in various different ways. You know, she's got a laundry list of things that go on with her. But nevertheless, you know, I just want to share our journey with you, and hopefully this resonates with some people, you know, that have to deal with these types of things. And, you know, yeah, that's all I got. Hopefully you guys stick around and want to hear the rest of the story and see, you know, where all this different stuff leads. But, you know, try to tune in for the next one. I'll see y'all later.